So before I go anywhere, I'm going to wait just a minute to see if anybody actually shows up. So if you are here and I don't see you yet, please leave me something in the comments to let me know that you're here and that you can hear me. Those are the two main things that I need to know. I know that got a lot of people back in the States who would ordinarily be signing in right now, but they're at church. So I'm hoping I've got somebody from somewhere else maybe that can log in and tell me that everything is working. So I'll give it just another little bit before I get started. Okay, so I've just gotten the notification on YouTube that we're live, so maybe people will start. Robin, there you are. Great, Gary, thank you so much. Barbara, nice to see you. Okay, so now that I know everything's working, and where I'm walking today, I should have a decent signal, so I shouldn't drop anything along the way. But I'm gonna turn this around and show you where I'm starting from, so you kind of know where we're going today. Let's do this. Nope, let's do that. Let's do this. So I'm on a street corner here, and if you look just down here, there's a break in this scaffolding. That's my hotel. That's the Hilton Carlisle, Hilton something Edinburgh. I am on the Royal Mile, so if we were to walk about 10 or 12 minutes downhill, we would wind up at Holyrood House. We're not going that direction because then I got to walk all the way back uphill when I'm done, and I would rather go here. So this is the Tron Kirk. Let me see if I can pull this up here. I'm going to hold my phone just a minute so you can kind of see. It used to be a church. Kirk is basically church. Now it is a market, and the market is open, but we're not going inside. The other thing too is that from where I'm standing, if I were to walk this direction for about 10 or 12 minutes, I would wind up at Calton Hill. And if I walked this direction 10 or 12 minutes, I would wind up at the Scott Monument. So I'm right in the middle of pretty much everything that I want to do. And this is the Royal Mile headed toward the castle. And that's the direction we're going to go. So I may make a couple of little dives here and there, left or right, as we go along. But I'm going to try not to walk too awfully fast, because I want you to sort of get a grasp of everything. And like I said in Inverness, I think it was in Inverness, everywhere you go in a big city these days, there's scaffolding everywhere. It just messes up every photo opportunity you want. This is Victoria Street going down here, and it goes downhill and would eventually wind up near Scott Monument. There is a really small coffee shop right here on the corner called the Milkman, which is one of my favorite little spots in Edinburgh. And if you follow this road all the way around to the end at the bottom, there is another little coffee shop called the Milkman. It's a little bigger. So I tried to go here this morning for coffee, but they didn't open in time. And so I wound up again at a Black Sheep Coffee for some cappuccino before I had breakfast in my hotel. Now, I had lunch today right here at the Murphy's Irish Kitchen and Bar. So I listened to Irish music all during lunch and had haggis bonbons. You may have seen that picture on Instagram. They're kind of nice. And we've got some mimes here. Not really sure what they're doing, but you know, there are people all around the city doing street stuff. I tried to go into the Copper Still to have lunch because I wanted a Scotch egg, but they didn't have any today. That was very disappointing to me. Yes, it is chilly. I checked the weather before we started, and I do have my jacket on. It's 53 degrees, and there's a pretty steady wind, and so it says that it feels like it's 43 degrees. And sometime in the next hour, it's supposed to start raining again, so hopefully we'll be done by then. You know, these little phone booths are always fun to take pictures of, but of course there are no phones left in them, just all kinds of things to advertise. Well, actually, I guess there is a phone in that one. Not sure that it works, but it's there. And all along the way, we will pass little things called closes. If you don't know what a close is, it's really kind of an alleyway. And we'll stop here for a minute. So I saw him earlier. He's an escape artist. So anyway, usually a lot of the closes are just an alley from one street to the next, but some closes actually go into courtyards or gardens or that kind of thing. So if you're ever on the Royal Mile, make sure you visit them because you'll miss a lot if you don't. This is the backside of St. Giles Cathedral. I went through there today and I had 2 bars of a signal. And so I'm hoping tomorrow we can do a live stream inside without dropping a signal. That's my hope. We'll see. One of the more famous closes here is Mary King's Close. And you have to buy tickets for that. And there's actually takes you down where people used to live, and it's haunted, and so, you know, it's a lot of fun. They tell me. I've never been inside. It's typically, I think, up here. So you'll see all these shops. Now, one thing, let's see, have you come across it? Yes, I did come across a bagpipe player. I got some videos when I put the video together of Edinburgh for the New Retired Me channel. You'll see a little bit of that in there. And I was about to say there's usually one sort of up here on the right, but I don't hear him, and I don't know if he's there now or not. St. Giles is free to go in, but it's only open on Sunday from 1 to 5. Robin, you did the Mary's Close tour. Was it good? Would you recommend it to people? So this is another little place to stop here outside of St. Giles. This is the heart of Midlothian, and it's where the jailhouse used to sit as people would come out of the courts, because this is the court over here, and over here behind St. Giles is the Supreme Court, and people would come around here and spit on the jailhouse, both out of disgust for the jails and for good luck. So, I do hear a bagpipe up here just up the street. So we just stop and show you. So this is St. Giles. Now, thanks, Robin. She recommends it. So when you go into St. Giles Cathedral, don't expect it to be like St. Paul's or St. Peter's or that kind of thing. It's not an elaborate place, but it was the cathedral for Queen Elizabeth, and her body lay in state there for a while after she passed away. All right, let's head over here for just a second. There he is. This is a doorway where bagpipers usually come and spend the day. And I saved a pound so I could go in and leave him some money as we walk by here. So give me just a minute. All right, let me see if I can break through everybody here for just a second. Leave this man something for his effort. I'm in everybody's YouTube shot now. I'll try to walk around that pretty fast. And we'll be out of this noise here in a minute. The other thing here as well, outside of the courthouse, is a statue of Hume. And if you look closely, I'm not going to walk up there close, but if you look really closely, his toe is rubbed off, where you can see the original copper, I think it is. Because people rub that for good luck before they go in to face the judge. I'm not sure if it works or not, but that's what they do. I think this is, no, we're not going to come down here. We're going to come down a different direction. So I need to wait a minute, so I don't have a walking sign yet. Let me turn this back around again. I could walk down this street right here behind me to go down to the W Bow, but I think when we get done at the castle, I'm going to go down that a different direction from up above. You'll recognize that because it's one of the streets I think that inspired part of Harry Potter. So, hey, good afternoon from Newcastle. Trying to think if there's anything else I need to tell you while I'm standing here waiting on the street to change. I can't really think of anything. And there's a little spit of rain, so this should be fun for a while. We're going to keep going whether it rains or not. So my phone is waterproof. I'm not sure if my microphones are. So we shall see. I'm waiting on this light right over here. You'll see that it's flashing in the video. That's because I have my video set up for 60 hertz and the UK is on 50 hertz. And so it cycles, it doesn't cycle the same as the camera does. And it doesn't really show up much in most of the video that I've done unless it's slow motion. If I do a 120 frame per second slow motion, it's going to be flashing on and off with the lights. So one of the things that I would tell you, hey, Elise, did you skip church? So one of the things that they tell you about the Royal Mile, and I would have to agree, you'll see all these little shops along here for souvenirs. There are places to buy kilts. There's places to buy tartan wool. There's places to get your family logo, whatever. Don't buy them here. They're really, really expensive along this street. So it's better to find a spot kind of off of the Royal Mile if you want to go shopping. And that's kind of the way it is in any big city you go to. They've always got the place all the tourists go, and it's incredibly expensive, and it's just better to find someplace else. All right, so we have another church here up ahead. We're about to head down into the road just before the castle. Oh, Robin, have fun at church. Hope you have a great service. Say hi to everybody for me. So this little stretch right here heading up to the castle is called Lawn Market. And I think that's the name of the street, is Lawn Market. And we're gonna head down this way here in a little while. And my hope is, if I don't get rained out, my hope is to wind up in Greyfriars Kirkyard with the cemetery there before we end. And that's going to require two things. So it's going to require the fact that the rain holds off enough that I don't have to dash inside somewhere. And it's going to require that I can remember how to get there without having to look at my map. So, two things that will be really important. But I think I remember. So up ahead, you can see the castle. And again, there's tons of people along here. Now you do have to get tickets for the castle. I forget what they are. Somebody who's been there since I've been there could remind me maybe. But if you're gonna go, try to go so that you're there at 1 o'clock. Because every day, can you tell I'm walking uphill? Because every day, oh man, there's nobody here compared to the Fringe. But at 1 o'clock, they shoot off the gun, and it's a big to-do, well worth the effort. I just had to step in front of somebody who was trying to do some kind of video work, I think, but I couldn't wait on them. So you can just get a ticket and walk in, but it's really better, I think, to plan ahead. It's a really, hey Lori, it's a really nice place to go through. It's not worth doing a live stream from for me because most of the stuff is inside thick block walls and I wouldn't have any kind of cell signal to stream from. But from here, you have a pretty good view of the city because obviously we're sitting on probably the highest part of the city. I'm pretty sure this is an old volcano that it sits on, so I hope it never goes off. But you can see out over here. Yeah, I should have smiled. I'm sure I had a real frown on my face. Hey, Brother Tom. Welcome, buddy. So anyway, this is the view from the castle. Now we're going to walk back down here and take a right and head down to what I call Harry Potter Boulevard. And because there's so much to see while we're walking, and you probably saw one side of the road mostly on the way up here, we'll try to let you see the other side of the road on the way back down. I'm not going to point the camera at me very much because, you know, who cares? This journey is a lot easier to watch if it's just a video that I've taken and edited together and made it about 8 minutes long. But I'm glad you're here with me today. So this is the Cannonball restaurant. I follow a channel on YouTube called Shauna Explores. And Shauna lives over in Leith, the Leith part of Edinburgh. Very sweet young lady. I think maybe she might have turned 30. But she does video of all kinds of places around around Edinburgh. And she did one from that cafe. She does a lot of coffee shops and tea shops. And this is the Scotch Whiskey Experience. If you want to do the tour, I think this is the one with all the light shows and the videos and stuff. This guy is giving away pictures. Well, not giving away, but you can get a picture made there if you give him enough money. And then there is the World of Illusion spot. So you can see me in the mirror, and there's 2 or 3 mirrors along the street here. I've never been in there, but it looks like it's a lot of fun. And if you're here with a family, it might be worth doing. I think this street coming up is where I want to turn. We're going to pretend like it is anyway. I did come out here this morning. Laura, it's one of the reasons why I'm hesitant to do it myself. Robin, have a good day. I did get out here this morning about 7 or 7:30 to take some pictures. I got a picture of the witchery shop here. Because at 7:30 in the morning, there's nobody on these streets. And you can just take all the pictures you want. Unfortunately, it's also dark, so you don't have any sunlight. So, you know, it's a give and take. It's really, really windy right through here, so I don't know how well my microphones are cutting that down. Hopefully. And then almost every street you go on, there is a coffee shop. This is an outdoor coffee bar. It's closed, but they sell beer and wine and coffee, all the, you know, the necessary things of life. Thanks, Lori. Hey, Suzanne, welcome. So I'm trying to remember what street I need to go down here. I'm going to go down one more because this doesn't look right to me. But we will find it one way or the other. Go down to Bow Street. Let's see. Yeah, National Cycle Right 75, which I think is this next street. Thank you for looking it up on the map. There are no trees or anything through here, no. There are plenty of green spaces at Holyrood House. There are some green spaces down at that end. And as you go down that end of Holyrood, hey, that's a great idea. I'll see if I can find that down here at this next street corner. If you're watching this after the live stream, somebody said to give them the street corners and they could tell me where to go themselves by looking at the map. Why didn't I think of that? Suzanne, it is trying to rain. I'm getting a little bit of mist, but not really what I would call rain at the moment. But it is going to rain later. At about 5 o'clock, it's supposed to be raining pretty steadily. Yeah. I don't know what this guy's looking at. Let's see. Are you looking at me, dude? Okay. So I think I was supposed to turn the street back up, but I think I can still get there from here because I think I'm too close to St. Giles Cathedral now. But I am on Lawn Market, and I am at the corner of, can't see the sign, something street. But I think I turned here last time, went down through here. So, yeah, it's amazing how that works, and you can't do both at the same time. I've got to walk through a little section here, and I hope that I don't lose you. If it starts to go in and out, just bear with me. It's not a very long walk, but the street's under construction, and they make everybody come down this way. But at least it's not raining under here, so, you know, there's that. Prism is not telling me that I've got a weak signal, so maybe I'm still doing okay. Yep, this is exactly where I wanted to go. I recognize this from this morning. Now there are plenty of pizza places here. There's Kentucky Fried Chicken. There's McDonald's. So if you're not into haggis and, you know, all that kind of stuff, there's probably food here that you would enjoy. Okay, so you may not be able to see it, but this says Victoria Street, and we have now entered into Grassmarket. So I think maybe, and again, part of it's under construction, so you just got to deal with that. But as we come down here, I think maybe you'll recognize parts of this from pictures you've seen online. This is a very Instagrammable. Yeah, we just passed the Pizza Express. So this is the street that sort of inspired, I think it's Diagon Alley. I never know if it's this street or Victoria Street on the other side, but I think it's this one in Harry Potter. Just kind of the shape, the way the storefronts are. And you can climb some stairs and walk above all the way down as well. It's a really nice view. We're not gonna do that. And it's much easier to go this direction because you're going downhill than it is to go the other direction where you're going uphill. But again, you can see up here, there's restaurants and stuff people are at. I may try to come here. Let me step off here. I may try to come here for dinner tomorrow night. This is Birdie's, and it's supposed to have some of the best fish and chips in town. I doubt that, but there's one of the staircases you can go up to the top. But it might be worth a try. And I will tell you that if you're on this street, someplace I can recommend is this pink building right here called Oink. They have the best pork barbecue sandwiches that you will ever taste in your life. We're not going in there either, but it's really, really good. So, again, you can kind of see, let's see. Yeah, it's pretty much downhill, I think, until I get to the Kirkyard. I'll have to go back uphill when I finish the live stream and get back to the hotel, but I think we'll be okay. So I'm just walking in front of everybody's cameras here. I'm sorry for that, people. So this comes down into Grassmarket. And I don't know if Elise is still here or not, but when we were here with our family trip, we wound up down here when the market was open. So it is filled with food stalls from all over the world. Some really, really, really good food, but you know, there's none of that today. And then we've got a little bit of Scottish history over here in the Knight's Vault. Now, just let's see. Yeah, well, Tom, yes, I was cursing the downhill on our hike, but that was a different story. That was 18 miles long. And we were not on pavement. We were coming off of Charlie's Bunyan. I hate that hike. I will never go back there. But anyway, if you walk down to the other end of this market, over on the left-hand side is another one of those, hey Zach, is another one of those Instagrammable spots that if you walk up the stairs, kind of after the lights come on, the street lights are going up the steps, and you have a view straight across here to the castle. And you'll see a lot of pictures from there on Instagram. We were not there at night, so our pictures didn't look that great, but you know, we took them. So I'm going to come down here. I'm not going to the bistro kitchen, but it does look appetizing. And there is a place over here that is named for my own heart. Let me eat. All right, so I've got a choice here at this roundabout, and I could go straight off to the left here and then turn later, or I can go ahead and turn here and come into that later road, and I think I'm going to do that. So I think I'm going to come over here. Talk about a fish store. Oh. No, it wasn't 16 miles, but Tom, let me turn this around here. So Tom is a longtime friend of mine. We met through the Discovery Educator Network. And he was up in Gatlinburg on a family vacation, which is about 3 hours from me. And he said, hey, why don't you come up and let's hike Charlie's Bunyan. This has really great views. I was like, dude, I'm on it. So I drove all the way up there, and we hiked, and we hiked. And I was ready to quit. I was like, you know what? The view is not that important to me anymore. I'm ready to go home. But we finally got there, and the view was spectacular. But then, you know, we had to come down that hill. And I don't know if you've ever hiked downhill for miles, but your toes just dig into the front of your shoes. And it is painful as all get out. And so we had no idea how far we were away from the car. We didn't have a cell signal. We didn't know anything. And all of a sudden, we hear these footsteps. And this guy comes jogging down the trail. Past us jogging. And I was like, holy crap. I hate that guy. All right, so this is another place I've never stopped at, but there is the Oz Bar here. Some of these places, I've had some pubs recommended to me by hotels and stuff that I've stayed at. And when you go, they must get recommended by everybody on the planet because you can't get in. They are so stinking busy. And they're like, do you have a reservation? And I'm like, for a pub? Are you kidding me? No. So anyway, we're walking up the street. I have no idea what the street is. If you're still looking at Google Maps, you might be able to find it. This should be bringing me toward Greyfriars Kirkyard soon. Yeah, it definitely works a different kind of muscle. Muscles that honestly I don't have, I didn't have, I've never had, I will probably never have. Okay, so here is the entrance to Greyfriars. And where are we at here? We're at 35 minutes, so we're getting close. This is one of those hop on, hop off buses to tour Edinburgh. I thought about taking one of those, but I've only got 2 full days, and I decided maybe that wasn't the way to go. All right. So, there is a whole story here about this Bobby, and this is the Greyfriars Bobby. His owner was a watchman here at the Kirkyard for years and years. And after he passed away, Bobby would just come every day and sit at his graveside. And so it's a beautiful story. No idea if it's true. This is Greyfriars Kirk. And I believe there are tours that you can go in, but we're not going in today. And then this is a little statue here to the Bobby. And here you will see he died in 1872 at 16 years of age. So it's an old story, okay? It's not something that happened back in the 60s. Now, the main thing that people come for here is the cemetery. And I'll be honest with you, it's not that impressive, but this is, hey Tom, thanks for stopping by, buddy. This is the cemetery that J.K. Rowling would come through. And you can kind of see a lot of the tombstones. How do I get out of the camera shot here? I've got my camera backwards, so it's hard for me to tell. Anyway, some of the tombstones are directly in the walls. But J.K. Rowling would come through here. Sometimes she would sit. Sometimes she was walking through here. There's a coffee shop nearby where she wrote a lot of the early drafts of Harry Potter. But it burned and it is closed, and I don't know if it will ever open again or not. And somewhere over here is the grave everybody comes to see. Anybody know what grave I'm talking about? From the Harry Potter stories? Anybody know the name of the person that's buried over here? Oh, I'm not going to walk up through the flowers to pet the puppy. There are too many people around watching me. There are some really interesting graves here, tombstones and grave sites. And I'm walking on some of the, let me just turn this around. I'm walking on some of the roughest dang cobblestones downhill, and it hurts like the dickens. So I can never remember on the first try where this grave is, but it will be along one of these walls. If somebody is on Google Maps, you can look up the grave of Tom Riddle, Riddell. Oh yeah, there is a puppy statue back up on the street. Okay, I forgot about that. Tom Riddle was Voldemort, he who shall not be named. And it's around here somewhere, and I always think it's on this wall, but it never is. But I think you'll find it on Google Maps, and you can kind of give me some idea of where I need to be headed. But while I'm kind of wandering, looking for it, I'll show you why people come here. And it's for places like these. We'll get to it in just a second. So again, these are just built into the wall. Yeah, I think it's up here to my left. But I wanted to show this while I was walking. And then you will see a lot of things like this. And you will see things like this. And I don't know what all that means other than stay out. Let's see. So there is no other wall there. Dang it, I should have looked this up on the map before I got here. After passing the Flodden Wall Arch. All right, let's come up here for just a second. I may not even be in the right part of the cemetery. Because I think, let's just keep going. I see the arch. At least I think I see the arch. But you know, if you look, there's a lot of people walking around here, and there are, especially in October, there are night tours through here for ghosts and goblins and all that kind of good stuff. There are a lot of, this is the arch here. There are a lot of walking tours here that are free to take. It's either on this wall or the one to my left. So let's try here. They're free to take, and they just ask you to tip the person when you're done. So let's see. That's not it. It may actually be over here. So let me just walk down here and just make sure. I could be wrong about that though. Let's see if it's along this wall. This is what happens when you don't come here for a long time. Yeah, I think it's right down here because this little path has been set out to take you there. Thank you all for your Google Maps sleuthing. I have to remember that for next time. And now, holding this phone so long, my thumb is starting to go to sleep, so that's fun. There are some other graves here that wound up being in the book as well. So, this is to the memory of Thomas Riddle, Esquire, of wherever that is in Berwick. He died in 1806 at 72 years old. And just by passing by here, J.K. Rowling said, you know, turn around. I think that's a good name for a character, Thomas Riddle. What can I do with that? And he became He Who Shall Not Be Named, Lord Baltimore. I said it, sorry. So that brings a lot of people here. There are Harry Potter walking tours here as well that you can get that will take you to a lot of these places that are either mentioned in the book or was instrumental to J.K. Rowling writing the book. So that's the walk. I'm glad you came along. It took 45 minutes. That's not as long as I thought it was going to take. So I appreciate y'all being here. We will try to be back tomorrow. It's afternoon here, early and sometime in the morning back home. I'm going to try to go through St. Giles Cathedral. Well, different spelling. You know, you say potato, I say potato. So anyway, we'll try to be back tomorrow. I'm going to wind up doing a live stream for the members of the New Retired Me channel up on Calton Hill, probably tomorrow afternoon as well. So that's $1.99 a month to join to be a member. Little commercial plug. And we shall see you all later. Thank you very much.